Welcome to I'm in a Relationship, the podcast. I'm Rose Sakante, your host, and I am excited that you've decided to join us today. We're going to be talking about single women in the church and what that looks like today. And I have some incredible ladies that have decided to join me as we discuss the journey of being in the church and being single. Join us as we sit down today and have some honest, transparent conversation about being single and being in the church. Thank you. All right, so ladies, thank you for joining me. I am so excited. All three of you hold a special place in my heart. So I'm going to do the formal kind of introduction, but I'm going to add a little bit of my own little stuff in there because all three of you guys, I mean, it's not by coincidence that I asked all three of you to join me and this afternoon for this podcast. So I'm excited. I'm going to start with Pastor Lakia. She is the owner of Christian Life Radio Station and pastor of Women of Life Ministries. And I met you by Jana. She was like, I know the perfect person to be a part of your women's conference. And I said, okay. I was like, all right, okay, I trust you, Jana. And when she said that you were a powerhouse, I just didn't expect that you were going to be that powerful. Like, I mean, when I say powerful woman of God, but outside of that, you have been a friend. You have been that person that I can look to or call and say, hey, you know, and you've always answered the call. So I thank you for being my friend.
Thank you for being mine.
I thank you for your support and just the ministry that you have for women. The heart of women is an example to me. And I just thank God for you.
Thank you
so much so. Thank
you, Rose.
And then we have my coach Deb, my personal coach.
Amen.
Yes, my personal coach, and in striving to be my BFF as well. I know I want to. Yes.
On your heels.
Yes, on the heels. Met Coach Deb just by coincidence on Facebook, scrolling, and somebody tagged me and tagged, and then a phone call. I reached out to you, and that one phone call led to my women's conference, and then just a great friendship. Like, ladies, you know, when you have that person, you can call and you get them on the phone.
Yeah.
And 5 hours, 6, 7 hours later, later,
Wow.
you have talked about everything and you've poured into each other. Coach Deb has poured into me so much, and I just appreciate that. Called you earlier this week, and we were at work, and I was like, I'm gonna get fired because we were laughing, but we were talking, and it's just so good that you can pick up the phone and have someone like that in your life. That you can have someone like that, because us as ladies, we know that that's not always the case, and it's so it's missing. So thank you, Coach Deb. I so love you and appreciate you. And now I got to get over here to my sis right here.
Uh-oh.
Oh gosh. What do I say?
Listen,
Like I'm trying to hold it back.
Yeah.
But such a beautiful person, inside and out. I just don't know how to put it into words. Because you see that person that becomes an example, and they don't even know they're being the example. They're just walking and living the word of God. They're just walking and living the way that you should live. And you see that as a living example, a testimony. And so that when I needed that in my life, I could just look across the aisle in church and I seen her living it, right? Going through the things that many of us go through as ladies, but still holding her head up high, still walking in with confidence, still loving, giving, praying. I know there were times she wrapped her arms around me, but she was hurting. And to be able to give like that is just beyond words. So I love you.
I love you too.
And when I say sis, I mean it. I mean it. Got me hooked into TikTok and all this other stuff. Right? Where's that tissue, Lord Jesus? Yes, but sincerely, as I said, all three of you were chosen and picked because of what you mean to me, but also the examples that you have been in my life. And I know with this, you're going to be an example this afternoon to some ladies that need to really hear what we need to say and what needs to be said in the church. But as single women, you know, we have purpose. We have meaning, we have value. And sometimes that is missed when you're in a church. So we want to make sure that we don't miss that. We don't miss that at all. And we want to be able to bring ladies in so that they hear the voice of women that are going through it. I won't say gone through it, but are going through it, but also are moving past stereotypes, moving past feelings of insecurity, inadequacy, shame, sometimes bitterness and unforgiveness, whatever it might be, because it's real and it's not something that we always talk about. And many times with our church leaders, we may not even feel comfortable having that discussion, because in some cases, you know, the church leaders, if they're married and they have a good, you know, relationship, they may not always understand what it's like at this point in our lives to be single and to be in the church. So I'm getting some head nods, a very much. I mean, the reality is that when you're married, it's hard to identify with being single because you have that ultimate connection, right? You have that connection. So with that being said, you know, I want you guys to share with me a little bit about that. What your experience is right now, being, you know, in church, leaders in the church. We have leaders in the church here, and just being single. In your own words, what does that feel like to you? So, Eboni, I'll start with you. What does that feel like?
What does that feel like? No, I mean, honestly, now the place that I'm in is a blessing, right? And I know that a lot of things will be talked about today, but what thing you just spoke on that really touched me was being in the church, being single, but being around those married couples, your pastors, your other leaders that are married, and people not really being able to connect where you are, right? And so I really have dealt with that hugely because you're around people that have been married 40 years, 50 years, all these long, and they're like, oh yeah, it'll be okay, it'll be this, and they don't understand the emotions that come with all of that and the life, and then even just fellowshipping with them as a married couple. But for me, I say that it's a blessing now because it's been a journey. It has not always been a blessing. I think earlier we were talking and we were like, we're okay with that right now. I wasn't always okay with that and what that looked like because of society and just wanting to fit in and, you know, be like others at times. But I'm okay with it right now. I mean, I'm a leader and this is me and God. That's what we're doing. We're hanging tight. Yeah.
That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Hanging tight.
So, Coach Deb, share with me. What are your thoughts?
It was, like she said, it's been a journey. It was, I wasn't always single. And at one point, I wanted to always make a point that I was divorced. So I don't give the misconception that I was never married, right? Because to me, single means that you've never been married. And that was not my story, right? So when someone asked me if I'm single or married, I would say divorced. Just to be transparent that I have been there and done that twice. It didn't work out for me. Now, I thought that it would. I didn't get married to get divorced, as most people don't. But I promise you, we talked about this, Rose, you don't take a shower to take a bath. And sometimes the place where we need to get the most help, we shy away from because we're going through something. And now I know that the best place for me was in God's house.
Yeah.
Even if I was in my singlehood or being divorced or going through a divorce, it was still okay. It was a place for me as well.
Absolutely.
And someone needed to hear my story and my testimony that they too can get through this. I don't advocate divorce for anyone because it's truly like a death, and you go through the stages of grief, right? And you mourn the future that you thought you would have with this person, and it doesn't happen that way. You have to figure out your finances. Here I come as a life coach, right? You got to figure out your finances because you envisioned a different life, right? Not only spiritually, emotionally, but financially, and you have to shift. And so I had to do a lot of shifting and to get in the Word as to believing that God had something for me, even if He times two was not.
So, you know, that you brought something up that's really good. And I can, you know, for myself, I'm, you know, recently separated, 9 months in. So kind of in the middle of the road,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and then Elder Eboni, divorced, how many? Twice.
Never been married.
Never been married.
Wow.
So we've got a good mix here.
Right.
You know, I've been married. It was my second marriage, ended in a separation. So a lot to deal with, and a lot to share. So how do you, single, never married?
And you know, it's interesting because when I gave my life to the Lord, I gave my life to the Lord at 27. So before then, I was out there having a good old time. Okay. You know, it was like, you know,
Figure it out.
listen, 100%. And so when I came in and I gave my life to Christ, that was like a new type of living that I had to really adjust to, you know, and then do it wholly. You know, you know, what does that really look like? Not really knowing what that looked like. And, you know, I came to the point where I was like, well, God, I want to do this and right standing with you because I don't want to be sexually active. I want to live this life right. And, you know, I opened the door to some things, you know, thinking that it would be the right thing, you know, and being a minister in the church, you know, people looking at you and you presenting folks. You know, talking about my fiance and talking about this, and then later on, got people like, what happened to that fiance? You know, what happened? You know, and so, and then after that, I think the last relationship I had was at 2018, and so, and that was rough because I'm seeing all these individuals that I was with, who was probably dogs when I was with them, now having a lovely life.
Right.
You know, and then
Train them up for someone else.
that part, you know, that part.
We still the build-a-bear.
Now the builder.
Coming up on somebody else's bed. Hello. Somebody.
You know, and then, you know, and then I got tired of being the one who kept getting called or saying, you know, how you have the exes but they all want to still be your friends.
Absolutely.
Why you want to still be my friends? You gotta, you know. So, you know, and then having the thing of, God, is it really that? Am I good enough? You know, like, am I good enough? But you know, God spoke to me one day, and this is why I'm at a place in my life where I'm okay, because God says, Kia, I know how you need to be loved. He said, there's a lot of counterfeits out there. And the more you allow yourself to open yourself up to that, if you don't allow me to love you like you need to be loved, then you will always get caught up with the counterfeit. And so I said, okay, God, you know, because I give hard. Well, however you see me in ministry, however you see me in radio, whatever, I give it 100%. And that's how I am in a relationship. And God said, I want that 100%. I want that, you know, and so, but I'm okay, you know, and I know you'll ask more questions later, but I'm in a good space.
Well, you said something that's key, and you said, you know, having to deal with the emotions behind it. So what was like the one emotion that you've had to deal with, and probably a lot of emotions, but one that you've really struggled with that you was just like, Lord, take this away from me. Like, let me find a Bible verse. Let me find something that's going to help me get through this part of the healing? Because if I can get past this emotion, I know I'm going to be okay. I can move forward. What was that for you?
I would say loneliness. I mean, I had a couple, but I want to say loneliness. And I'm going to pick that because I was in my room one day and I was just crying out to the Lord. I'm like, God, you know, I'm tired of being by myself. And he says, but you're not. And you know, for a person, and are we being real on this?
Yeah, we're being real. This is honest and transparent.
Okay.
For real.
Because I want to help somebody out there.
For real. That's why we're here, to help somebody. Help. Because I need somebody help.
But being a person that was so sexually active and then to not want to live a life, then I had to learn how to taper that.
Right.
And I remember being in my room crying to God about that. And the Lord says, you never asked me to he goes, I'm Jehovah Jireh, but you never asked me to feel that. What does that look like? So I'm like, okay, God, what are you saying to me? You know, because I really, honestly, and there's people out there that honestly want to, you know, be obedient, want to be pleasing in God's sight, but don't know what to do, you know? And I remember crying and getting on my knees and praying when I would get those attacks in my flesh, praying to the Father, you know, and begin to pray for individuals who didn't have the strength to get on their knees. And begin to call them out. And the Lord said, as I was praying, crying, he said, now get up, because my first ministry was dancing for the Lord. He said, get up and dance with me. I got up and began to dance with the Lord, and it was like it was like a heavenly experience. What I did that night was invited him in my loneliness. We sometimes try to struggle with that on our own.
Try to fix it on our own.
You can't feel those wounds yourself. We stay quiet. We isolate ourselves. We'll call our girlfriends. Then we're wondering why they can't meet. Oh, you don't understand what I'm saying. And God makes it so they won't understand. Because he's saying, I want you to invite me in to that moment, to that struggle, you know. So I would say loneliness, you know, for me.
For you, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Coach Deb, what about you? You know, you mentioned a few, especially with being divorced. I mean, you died to what you, you know, you envision this future, you envision this life together.
Absolutely.
You know, death do you part.
Yes.
And then it
literally.
in you know, breaking a contract. You know? And you face a lot and you feel a lot. But what was it for you?
After going through several stages of grief back and forth, it was times possibly fear, fear of the unknown, right? Fear of, will I get past this? Fear, will I be able to open myself up to the possibility? Will I be able to trust someone? Can I trust my own picker? Because
I told somebody my picker is way off. I said, my compass is broken.
it was laying down. Because truly, everything that looked good to you is not good for you.
Because I said that to somebody, and they was like, "You said your picker off." I said, "Yes."
Yes.
I said, "Yes."
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
I said, and the counselor told me, we being real here.
Right.
The counselor told me my picker is off.
And if we're being totally honest and transparent, we know exactly when it got off. And we knew at the exact moment, if we're being honest, where we knew better and we should have turned back.
That's right.
And we just moved forward and hoped for the best. And then we asked God afterwards to bless our mess. Instead of in the front of, on the front end. And he whispered, because he's a gentleman, right? It's not for you. I'm like, oh God, he looked good though. Tall, dark, and handsome. Smell good. Right. And then when you get in that space and you get centered finally, going through all of the things that you've been through, you can honestly disclose to yourself, be honest with yourself. I knew better and I didn't do better.
It's funny you say fear, Coach Deb, because and all of my interactions and talking with you, that's not one I would have picked.
All right.
Right, because you're so strong.
Yep, right. There's that word again.
Right. I see such strength in you.
Right? It came from other places. It came from the broken pieces. Often we don't. We would like to be in our feminine energy, right? But circumstances hasn't allowed us to truly bask in that. And a lot of the alpha in us, the alpha female, had to show up because she had to protect all of us, right? Especially when there are children involved, right? So we had to be protective. We have to be hyper vigilant. We had to look out for them. And I'll get back to me when I get back to me. But fear, can I do that? Can I do that alone? And God said, you're not. You're not alone. And Jeremiah 29:11 helps me cope with that and know that God had plans for me. I just had the wrong plans. I just kept veering off course. You know, he already knew what he had, and he had plans to prosper me. He had hopes for the future for me, but I was squirrel over here with that tall, dark, and handsome one. Went to the left, and then had to come back straight, and then went to the right, and then had to come. So it just took me a while to get it, but I got it now. I will seek his counsel first, and not after. I don't want him to fix him after I done got in it. That's a little late.
What about for you?
There are a few, just as we all mentioned. I tend to veer more so to grief and all the stages that went with that, because that was probably the really biggest piece for me, all the different stages of grief. But I also would say shame. So it goes back to the very first question of being in church, right? And the other leaders and being around people. And I'm a PK, and to be married twice, now to have this second, marriage to not work out, and the first one with different circumstances, but still, it's like, okay, and I'm here with all the congregation, all the people, we've been going to church together, everybody been seeing us together, and now he's gone, and it's like, now what do I do? And just the shame of being in the forefront, and then what are other people saying, and just all the different pieces. But I went through that, but then also felt like I let my children down. It was just a lot of different things that came with it, but the shame would be the huge one for me, because you desire so much, and when you think that you're in the will of God, like, we were doing things. I know this is it, God, this is it. And he's sitting back looking like, right, okay, I'm waiting for you to, like you said, you already know that it ain't, but he's sitting back and he's gonna let you do what you do until you come back crying and running, But it's really the shame. I think it was more so the shame for me.
So I said this earlier, how Eboni was like the walking testimony for me. Was in the same token, it was shame. It was like I felt like I was walking the hall of shame. Like everyone was going to look at, judge, have something to say, and to me that was very important. And that I remember when I first went to church after the separation, nobody knew. Like no one knew. There were only two people that knew, and that was my pastors. And they weren't gonna, broadcast it over the mic. Right. But I walked in that Thursday after a Monday of this situation happening, and I just wanted to crawl underneath. I was there, Bible said, I just wanted to crawl underneath the pew. I was like, oh my God, everybody knows. Now nobody knew. Right. And then and I remember looking over there and seeing Eboni, and I was like, okay, my sis over there can do it. I can do it.
Come on.
I said, I can do this. I can do this without throwing myself on the altar and crying about being shameful and, people looking at me. And then that Sunday rolled around, and I think I danced a hole in the carpet. I was praising because the doors of heaven had opened up.
The curtain had been lifted.
Yes.
You were light on your feet.
Yeah, I was light on my feet. Yes. We being real transparent. Eboni, I ain't got no rhythm, but that day I found something.
But sometimes you need that release, and it's funny because she mentions that, and she did not know though. So she saw one thing in church, right? And not that it was fake at all, but it goes back to what Pastor Lakia was mentioning of those times of crying and those moments, right, where you really had to invite God in. That's where it came from. That was the only way that I was doing it, because at home it was a different story of being able to just falling out crying, like not being able to pull the pieces together, like just all I could do was just sit at his feet and cry. And then literally when I said it was me and him, it was me and him, because that was the only way. I'm like, how am I going to get through this? And it was so many, because I had gone through one divorce, right? I thought I knew
what I was doing.
It was completely different. This one was completely different. The emotions and everything that came with it were completely different. So it was all new for me. I went through more of just even really learning how to sit with those emotions and feelings, because before it was just all tape it all up, put it together and just keep going. So it almost had looked like that to some people, but I know I was doing the work. I was working on it because you just had to be able to release and to let go. So when she had that moment in church, you absolutely need that. Mine just was at home. I mean, it happened in church as well, but it's just different how all the emotions kind of come out when you think you know how something's going to be, and it's completely different. But you just got to keep pushing.
I will say this, is that even though I saw that in church, I know she's a worshiper. So that taught me something at home. Because I know she is. And so I was like, now, wait a minute. I know she had to be brokenhearted, because I was brokenhearted, right? Because when you know somebody's going through something, your heart breaks for them. When you truly love and care and you worship and you pray with people and all of that. So when I knew what she was going through, my heart broke. But I knew that there had to be another source, something greater. And knowing, like I knew it had to be worship. So that helped me to understand what I needed to do. She didn't have to tell me, but she had been that example, so I knew that, okay, how am I going to get through this? Because just going home crying, sitting on the couch and just walling around, staying up till 2 a.m, painting the whole house, all of that.
She made good use of your time.
I made good use.
I wish I could do all
Let
that.
me tell you, I painted our whole house, refurnished everything, but that was not, what I needed to heal. That was just activity. Keeping myself busy. It was just a distraction. And that wasn't what God was saying. But, and then it clicked. It finally clicked. And when it did click, then I was able to let go of not let go of the loneliness, but be able to start to understand, where is this coming from? What do I need to do? Who am I supposed to go to? Where is my source? And so it's important, to surround yourself with people in the body of Christ as single women, as much as it might hurt to walk through those doors, as you may be looked at, somebody may give you the side eye, whatever it might be, it's still important to walk through those doors, because there is someone sitting there that can be your example, and you keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. So with that being said, as we keep walking through the doors, and I'll start with you, Pastor Lakia, how do being a single woman in church, or being divorced, separated in church, however we want to look at it, how do you think that helps the body of Christ?
Actually, I think, listen, what I didn't realize early on is that the single folks, we should be the ones serving the most in the ministry, right? Because you got the married folks who need to serve each other. They need to serve each other. So if they are 100% at church, then we got a problem.
Right.
Because they also have to, serve one another. So I had to understand that the importance of me dedicating my life to the Lord, and that's how I dedicate my life to Him. Of course I have my children, but they're older now. But even when they were younger, I would take them to church with me, right? I'd be serving wherever capacity I could serve in. I was serving in, in the beginning, it used to bother me when I used to see the married folks at church, right? Always together laughing. But listen, as you in this for a minute, you understand I'm in a blessed position. Because really what we're seeing in most of these marriages in the church are facades. I'm just being real. They're broken. They're not happy. They don't know how to communicate. It could be a little you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, I have a lot of dreams, and I have a lot of, dreams that God has imparted in me to do. a lot of people, a lot of women that I hear talk that are married, they wish they had the opportunity to do. And a lot of my friends are married. I rarely have single friends. I think I got like a couple, I can count probably one hand of the single women friends that I have in my corner. And so now it allows me to understand, okay, God, let me get in this field. Let me get out there and work this purpose, this business that you've given me. You know, yes, the emotions are going to come, right? But guess what? That's what you're here for. And then I just give them back because you're my husband. I had to learn how to treat my husband like he's my husband, which is the Lord. A lot of people may think that that's like, okay, that's cliche. No, if this is my husband and and the word tells us what our husband should do unto the wife, then I better get used to how I'm supposed to get love.
Right.
I better get used to how I'm supposed to be treated. Right? Because that's why I keep picking wrong.
Picker.
Lay it down.
My radar is off. Okay. It's not balanced right. And then I'm able to set the boundaries. I'm able to say no. Yeah, you package very nice, but You know what I'm saying? Then I will listen to the alarm in me, which is the Holy Spirit that says, don't do that discernment.
Yes. You know, people are calling them red flags. Those aren't red flags. That's the Holy Spirit.
That's the Holy Spirit.
Stop.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
That's what it is. But you said something earlier and you said it again. You know, understanding how God loves you and how you should love God. And until you get that right, your picker gonna be off. Because the standard should be our Father in heaven.
Correct.
And I remember when I was a little girl, my dad used to, he would say to me, if he can't treat you like I treat you, then he need to keep stepping. But why don't we take it a little bit further in our Father in heaven? If he can't treat you like God, then what is he doing? Why is he even in our presence? Because we are daughters of the King, of the Most High God, and that's how we should be living. That's how we should be walking. And if we live like that, walk like that, talk like that, then you know what? Those guys shouldn't even want to approach us. They should just not even. I mean, we wouldn't even be on the same length.
Because there's definitely something in us that's attracting. You know, we attract what's in us. And so in my journey, I mean, I'm just being real. And so, and that's nothing to be shamed about, but what that should serve as an opportunity for say, okay, God, this needs to be corrected. And you know what I'm saying? This is what needs to be corrected. And so I just think that, you know, I had a thought and it just went away. It's okay. But, you know, we just have to know that, you know, he's the one that's going to correct those things for us, you know, and make us better. And what I was going to say in this journey, not just him loving us, but him teaching us how to love ourselves. And I think that's where I'm at a place in my life now that I'm learning to love on Kia. Learning what Kia loves. Do I even know what my favorite color is? We asking mates, what's your this, what's your that? No, where do you like to go eat? Haven't you taken yourself out on a date? You know? Are you okay to be in the room by yourself where there's no noise? Are you okay to be in your own skin? Some people can't be in their own skin. So that's what this journey is about. Because I can't expect for him to pull me something off the shelf that's so magnificent. And then I'm over here doing the bare minimum. You know? So that's what my season is right now, even in church. And I'm and being okay in that. You know, so that way when my time when my time is come, then I'll be at the point ready for that time when it comes. Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good, especially in the terms of just being able to know who you are. And I'm going to ask a real bold question here. It's real bold. Because you said it, you know, where our picker is here, because there's something that, you know, is broken, you know, and until we understand where that space and what that thing is, we're going to continue to go back and attract the same. So I'm going to ask Coach Deb, what area you feel that might have been broken?
That's a very good question.
And that's a bold one.
Very.
Yes, because we're going to lay it all on the table.
I'm not sure exactly what area was broken and what they saw, right? And maybe they saw what you saw, which was the strength piece of it. And I would ask my exes, right? Know how you feel secure with me. I want the same feeling. You know that I got you.
Right.
I want to know that you got me as well. And so I had been so strong for so long that I had both of us.
Right.
And my dad got to the point where he was like, and when I got divorced again, because my father was truly a Southern man, and he believed in being a protector and a provider, and he was all of that. And he was like, you don't care nothing about a husband, do you? That was his question when he found out I was getting divorced for the second time.
Daddy, please. Right.
And I had to say, Daddy, I don't care about being mistreated.
Come on.
Right? So once you figure out what you need, and you can figure out this is not it, right? And so I had to figure out this is not it. The big thing for me, loyalty is huge for me. Right. And I thought, because in case you didn't know, I am a retired Marine. I've only dated and married Marines. Because they got me. Everybody else thought I was a little wacky. Didn't know how crazy I might really be, right? I mean, I tried to date someone not in that arena, but it didn't work out the way that I thought. But I know for me, loyalty is big. Trust is huge. And we're gonna submissive he working on me, right? And because I've been so strong for so long, I'm going to trust that you got us until you show me that you don't.
Right.
And then if I don't trust that you got us, we're going to struggle for we're going to struggle for who's in charge. And I know that about me. I want to be in that role, right? And that's probably why we are out of order and our pickers are wrong, because we are not doing in accordance with. We're not supposed to be hunting. We're supposed to be hunted.
Come on.
And we are, I like that. We're out of order. And then we get the desires of our heart, and you be like, oh Lord. And now I realize I was really out of order. And even now, my girlfriends, they be trying to hook me up, and I'm like, that's not it.
That's not it.
And she would go down the list, he's attractive, dressed nice, all those things that used to be on my list, high earner, all of those things. And she was like, well, what's wrong with him? I said, just not for me.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And that's okay. And I think they want me to be in a relationship more than I want to be in one. They do. And a lot of times I'll say, this one guy, he, bless his heart, he tried to date me for a very long time, and I was trying to be nice, and I don't know if he's going to see this video, but he'll know it's him. And so he said, I'm trying to be nice. I said, well, I'm just not the woman for you. And he said, you're absolutely the woman for me. But you've seen something, you've taken a glimpse into my life, and you've determined that I'm not the man for you. He was absolutely right.
He was absolutely right.
I was so glad we was on the phone and not in person. Because when I say he was spot on, he was spot on. Because anytime you tell me you want a $90,000 Escalade more than you want a home.
Right. Financial management, the coach. Yes. Here it is.
So you gonna have me in the apartment?
Right.
Range Rover?
Right. No. You're gonna have me living at your mama house. In the basement. In the basement. We got that car. We'll have dinner in the back seat of the car.
We're going to struggle with our finances. I've been there, done that already.
You know what, Deb? Just what you're saying is so good. Because this is another place where I'm growing in.
Right.
Where it's okay. See, I think our problem is sometimes with a lot of women is that we think we need to settle.
Right.
We have this picture of what we feel like we desire in our lives.
Right.
And then we're like, oh, well, maybe it's because people say it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's in me for a reason.
Right.
Right? It is in you for a reason.
Yes.
And it's okay. And as women, we need to understand it's okay, because guess what? If he put that desire in me, then that means there's a man out there to meet that desire.
Right. Because absolutely. And there was something you said, Coach, that when I asked you that question, especially, and I said broken, and you said strength. And it maybe it's not always the case that there's something broken inside of us, but sometimes we attract the person that sees something in us that's
broken in them. Right. Strong. Yeah. I need that. I get you. Right. They may have been going through something.
They may have been going through something. They may have had.
And they were attracted to the strength.
And they're attracted to the strength. They might have had a mother, and that is a positive too, because they could have had a mother that was a strong mother, that was,
attracted to them.
and that's attractive to them. But what happens is it becomes almost like a leaching process. Because they're never able to rise to the occasion, right? And never able to get to the place where there's a balance, not even above you, but a sense of balance where you feel comfortable to be submissive, where you're comfortable to say, you know what, he got this. He got us. Yes, he got us. I'm sorry, he got us. Well, I'm saying this, but that was my problem in the marriage. This is about this. Okay? This you ain't handling. I need to handle.
Because I know I can get us, right?
Yeah, but I need you to get us.
I need you to get us. And I know what that looks like. Right? And when I don't see it, it's difficult for me.
And I think even women who have had mothers and fathers that were married and had really good solid marriages, and even if your parents, their marriage was not that great, you still had some example or some sense of what that should look like. And so when they're not able to kind of fulfill those needs or rise up to the occasion, you're like, it's rough. It's rough. It's very rough.
That's me all day. So my parents have been married 43 years, and they got married very young, like 18, 19 years old, right? And still been together, right? So they had me a year after they got married. And so all my life, that's all I've seen is them. And my friends in school used to think we were the Huxtables, even though we didn't have many children, but just the love and the connection that was in my home. But because that's what I saw, that's what I desired, right? So you talk about that picture and what you want. That was it. I want to do the same thing my parents did. I want to be just like them. So I went off and wanted to get married very young. Well, not off, but that was my thought. I need to get married young. I'm going to have this family, put all this together, not realizing all the other intricate pieces that marriage took, of course. And then because of who my father is and the alpha piece that lies there too, I'm taking a stand. Let's do this. We're gonna get married. I can carry us. I got this. You there's something that you've connected here with me. You're drawing off of my strength, and okay, but now when we're gonna at least get here, because now I thought you did a lot of talking, and so it's a struggle. It becomes a huge struggle, and I'm like, and I'm wrong to ask for all these things, but it's like, no. And you're supposed to be a man of God, and you know what the word says. And you know how you should be loving your wife and your family and all the things. But, and I can't put it all on him, because like I said, I also realized what was missing in me. So after this time of, with this divorce, that self-care time and learning myself, because I said to God, okay, well, what is it? Like the picture, something ain't right, and I need to get this right, and I need to learn me. I need more and more of me. And so it was just what he said, well, I'm gonna, take you. It's gonna be you and me. It's gonna be you and me. And I started asking and praying for him to show me all those things, the good and the bad, so that I could recognize what they were, to heal those things, because there's always a root to certain things. But to learn what was missing, so that that picker could be a little, not even just as the picker, but to have the strength to say no. you know, when things were coming. Because yes, the packages, or then you get those people that do a lot of talking. That was me. They did a lot of talking, and it's like, okay, yeah, they're gonna be
listen
good.
to what you say and watch what you do.
And watch what you do.
When your words and your deeds are
and they don't line up.
That's true.
And then I'm still sitting around waiting, being patient.
But you waiting for that avatar, because that's who, that representative
to show up.
The
I was
representative
waiting.
was wonderful.
I was waiting. The avatar. That's a good one. That's good. That's good. That is good. That is good. Yeah, I was sitting around waiting. But yeah, it's something. But yeah, I did. I
And they
experienced
can
that.
only pretend for so long.
For so long.
And then their true selves shows up, right? Right.
Mask falls off.
They get comfortable, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, who's that demon?
Yeah. Don't try to call them out.
Right.
I mean, that's a whole
And you be
nother.
like, well, how did we get here?
Yes.
And how did I miss it? And then you be like, I saw it.
Yeah.
And I just hoped that you were just having a bad day or you were having a moment. But no, that's really who you are. And then I have two choices to make. Either I am going to accept you for who and what you are, or I'm going to love me more than what you're giving me. And I've chosen me, and I had to save me, because I can't save nobody else. Just like the church, you can't make them.
Yeah, and I had to save myself because I started losing myself. I was losing myself in the marriage, and so I was like, "No, wait a minute now. I done dwindled down too. This ain't where it's at. I got goals and things, and I can't have somebody pulling me down. No, so I had to make that choice. Yes, I had to make that choice. Yeah,
Feel like you're drowning.
So one of the things that you know, we did say about feelings and emotions. Was there a specific area that you felt that, or you found that you were broken in, or do you think it's just, you know, your strength? What do you think? Is there a place that you said, okay, I'm broken in this area, I need to heal? This is what.
I think it was through my discovery and therapy and all the things that there was a fear of abandonment there for me. That I had to work through, that I didn't realize that I was dealing with. And it still took a very long time because my father was in the home. He worked. And like, you know, you think about like, well, who abandoned me? I mean, you know, and it goes way deeper than that. But what was it that I was really missing? And it was something that was missing, that was broken in me, that I was trying to gather and get from other people. Because I also was a person that had to be with somebody. You know, it was like you break, you know, and even back in high school, like you have a boyfriend, you break up, oh, who else, you know, who's next type thing. And so that was all new. That I said I had to end up sitting with myself and being with myself, learning to be okay, to be by myself. And I'm just thankful because I asked the Lord, even in that brokenness, to make me comfortable with being by myself. And because I was like, I don't want to be in the mindset, okay, I got to go and find somebody, not even find somebody else, but be with somebody else, whether marriage, relationship, or what have you. But I was able to learn, or got to a place that now is like, I can care less about being, I mean, it's not, I know what God has for me is for me, but it's not a priority right now to be in a marriage or in a relationship, because I'm enjoying me, the time, learning myself, the self dates, like all the pieces that come with that. But it was a fear of abandonment that I didn't realize I was.
That's interesting. You know, on the same token, but mine's a little bit different. I felt the same abandonment and wanting to, I always felt that if I'm taking care of someone or taking care of the people around me, then I'm doing the right thing. I'm the good, you know, I was always the good daughter. So I was always taking care of other people, whether it was my mom, my brother, my this, that. So when it came down to relationships, and I look at it being that I lost my father very young, then I lost my uncle, then I lost all these men in the circle that was so very close and tight to me. I felt the only way to hold on to them is by giving more and more and more. And that is very attractive to anybody. Right. Like, you know, I mean, it's attractive. Like when you're a giver and you're going to give 100 everything, best of all that, they just have to say, I want, that look nice, and I'm doing it. And so that is, that's the place that I had to like kind of realize that, okay, who should I be giving to first? You know, where is this in the terms of balance and alignment? You know, because many women, because we're nurturers at heart, but sometimes we overstep and we give so much and don't get it in return. Because I was I was like, I don't care, I give it, I'll do this and do this and do this, and they can take me to Cracker Barrel for my birthday. That's all right. But then you had the rib eye that was like, yeah, true story. I ain't making it up. We want to thank you for joining us for this episode on I'm in a Relationship, the podcast. We hope that you come back and join us for episode 2 and 3. Oh, yay!